The Jamestown Tree Committee continues to ponder and collude with the local riparian owner about reclaiming that area along Walcott with the Norway maples. Right down next to, I think, is that Miller's property, the little teeny beach
Oh,
down there? You know, right, Island, or by the Grapes and Gourmet?
Yeah, what do you mean reclaiming it?
Well, the hillside is grown up with principally, almost exclusively, Norway maples,
Right.
which are, as they grow up together, they're not very pretty.
Right.
They block the view, and they're not.
That's the key.
Hold on,
You said magic
no, it
word.
did not. It has nothing to do with the local landowners, nothing.
Okay.
And
That's good, because that's what
it's not terribly good at maintaining the coastal feature, because Norway maples are very acidic and not too much stuff grows under them. I haven't walked down there, but there is an existing. He even talked about giving like a right of way. There may be like granting a right of way, and maybe I don't want to go on record with that, but that I believe was part of the discussion. I was only at the meeting briefly because I think I had to come over here. Well, I can't remember. In any case.
I was in session, this is all legitimate.
Well, I told them that, there would be, obviously permitting and serious issues about, cutting down those trees and replanting stuff. Moreover, the tree committee is, in the business of planting trees, and shrubs is, maybe in their purview. Grasses, I'm not sure, but, I said that we would look at the project, that they would have to come up with a plan, but we would be happy to advise them either whether it's to say this is simply not going to be possible, or maybe it's possible, and we'd be happy to give you some advice. My feeling is that
the basic, what they should do is they should contact somebody from CRC, like Dave Reese, or Tim Mott, have him come out and say, here's the property, but Billy Winger has to be involved because he owns it, and here's the property. Here's what we'd like to do, what are the options? Because I think that's the first step. Because they may say, leave it alone.
Okay, well, does it make any sense to, well, I think there have been some preliminary discussions, but I'm not sure. Does it make any sense for us to, what do you think? I mean, should we consider it, or?
The only way that if a private landowner wanted to do something in that sort of situation, CRMC has a bunch of information available now, specifically for managing invasives in a coastal buffer, which is what that entire stretch of land is.
And you can do it like a quarter of your property line at a time.
You have to do certain times, you have to work with certain people, they have a certification program for landscapers.
Okay,
who
I
are
mentioned that.
They have a great plant list that recommends what could be planted in its place that would be native, so that you don't end up with more Japanese knotweed. So that would be the best resource to recommend.
And I gave him the pamphlet that we had in circulation, on the grasses and coastal restoration stuff. So, I didn't think it was a bad idea, and so I didn't, discourage them. I said that, when I had mentioned it before, you expressed some skepticism.
Well, I think what's going to happen, it's going to turn out to be very expensive, because what CRMC is going to do, they're going to look at the shoreline now, they're going to see how stable it is currently, and they're going to say, we don't want to destabilize it unless you're willing to put the money into it, do it right, all at once, or something like that. That's probably what they're going to say, because I think near the liquor store, it comes down, there's not too much of a scarf there, but as you go down further south, there's a bigger scarf. And whether that involves regrading the shoreline, whether it involves more riprap, or whatever kind of stabilization, but that's where I pull a biologist in and just say, we'd like to do something with this, here's an invasive species, what's your recommendation? That's the first thing.
It seems to me that the
Don't let them
right
have a thing though.
of way, the right of way.
The neighbors have already tried, and not tried, but they've already asked that that be done.
It's my understanding that they're not involved in this, and really, it's my understanding that they're not involved in this. In fact, I suggested they approach the neighbors to get funding.
No, that was part of the issue originally, was if you guys want to do this, you should get Billy, do the permitting.
Okay, maybe they can get the money, but it's a question of whether, it's something that they should waste their time on, or.
I think you gotta talk to Coastal.
So should I
That would be
have Jim come up, well, I thought, okay.
That's been the first thing I had. Have Jim call CRMC, talk to Tim Mott or Dave Reese and say, here's an area, tell them exactly where it is, I'm sure they're familiar with it. We'd like to do something.
Who should you call at CRMC?
Tim Mott.
Shall I have him call you and
call me,
discussion with
I
you?
give Tim's name.
Okay. No, I'll have him call you.
They just need to know how to proceed so they don't get themselves in any kind of trouble, and then they may have to do a plan, and Tim may say you can do this. you can do
I
this.
think they're totally prepared to
Oh,
do
yeah.
whatever diligence is required, they just want some direction so
Yeah.
that they don't waste their time. And I figured, you know, our input would,
Yeah.
you know, make it more efficient.
They may say it's so stable now, we don't want you
That's why
touching
you're on the
it.
tree
That's
committee.
right, that's why you're on the tree committee. That's right. No.
Yeah, but they had talked about cutting them off, you know, not leaving the roots, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, no, if you only take, you're gonna have to take the roots out and restabilize the bank, because the roots are just gonna decay.
Yeah.
The bank's gonna, first big storm, that whole road's gonna go. That's the problem there, you got a real unstable shoreline to start with.
But, you know, you have the potential of a right of way, which,
Yeah, but see, they don't care about the right of way, as
Really?
long as,
Oh, okay.
their first concern is maintaining the coastal integrity.
Isn't that a right of way anyway?
The what?
Back to a right
Because
of way
people
anyway.
do it?
Yeah, there's a right of way there anyway.
no, I mean, well,
But they wanna see coastal stability, they don't wanna see anywhere shoreline loss there.
Okay.
So,
but of course, you know, a right of way that's not policed, you know, has the potential to, you know, contribute to the
Yeah.
degradation of the coastal feature.
that's right, that's right. Well, Billy would have to grant a right of way on whatever, so. All right, anybody else? Have any other new business? Boy, time for ice cream, huh, Carol?
It's only 8:36,
Oh,
31,
oh,
32,
it's okay, it's okay,
32.
there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so I'm gonna email everybody, 23rd or the 30th, at 6 PM, we'll decide where to meet, probably, we'll meet here and drive up together. It's up in Gondola, we can do that, I can contact John Cato, who did these plans, and just tell him, get his permission to go to the property, through the applicant. Okay, if you wanna watch our discussion, then go to the record. That's right.
And you're gonna email everybody and let us know which date? is
Yes,
appropriate?
yes, in
Okay.
fact, I'll try to do that next time, let's get that done.
Be good.
Okay, so when's Kathy, when did Kathy say she's coming back?
I can't remember, but I know she's not back. She's gone for 2 weeks, I think, and I don't think it started until
Yeah.
this week, so it's a lot.
Is there anything else? Okay, thank you.
Move
That's
to
it, we
adjourn.
adjourn.